Hello again, it's me. Thank you so much for coming back to spend a little bit of time with me and to join in on this conversation, because today is a very special day and I want to share something with all of you that I have been thinking about for quite some time. Those of you who have followed me know that I don't take these moments lightly. I don't come here with speeches. I come here with truth, my truth, lived and earned, sometimes the hard way, sometimes the heartbreaking way, but always honestly. And today, I want to give you something. I want to give you the best advice I can possibly give you at 85 years of age. Not because I am wise, not because I have figured it all out, but because I have lived long enough to know what matters and what doesn't. And I wish someone had told me at your age what I am about to tell you now. So walk with me for a moment. There's something I need to say, and I want you to hear it not just with your ears, but with whatever part of you is still listening. Whatever part of you hasn't been hardened by disappointment or silenced by fear. Turn around and look at how far you've come. The road behind you is longer than the road ahead. Say you'll listen. Don't walk away. Let the years speak. Let them tell you what they know. You and me, we don't have much time. So let's begin. As we have often talked about here, life absolutely moves faster than we think it will, doesn't it? When you are young, you feel like you have all the time in the world. You feel like the days stretch out endlessly before you, and there is always tomorrow, and there is always next year, and there is always someday. But I am here to tell you, standing at 85, that someday is a lie. Someday is the cruelest word in the English language because it convinces you that you have something you don't. Time. And time is the one thing you can never get back. I want to tell you a story. When I was 32 years old, I was standing in my kitchen on a Thursday evening. I had 2 children who were running around the house. I had a husband who was working late. I had a sink full of dishes and a list of things I needed to do that was so long it could have reached the ceiling. And I remember thinking to myself, someday. Someday when the children are older, someday when the house is paid off, someday when things calm down, someday I will rest, someday I will enjoy this, someday I will be happy. And I remember that thought so clearly because it was a thought I had almost every single day. Someday, always someday, never today. And I will tell you what happened to someday. My children grew up. They grew up so fast that sometimes I look at photographs and I cannot remember the moments between the pictures. The house got paid off. Things did calm down. But I did not rest. I did not enjoy it. Because by the time someday arrived, I had trained myself so thoroughly to live in the future that I didn't know how to live in the present. I had spent so many years postponing my joy, postponing my peace, postponing my gratitude, that when the time finally came to claim it, I didn't know how. My muscles for happiness had atrophied. My ability to be present had been worn down to almost nothing, and I had to learn it all over again. I had to teach myself, at an age when most people are slowing down, how to actually live. Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. You're thinking, well, that's easy for you to say. You're 85. You've lived your life. Of course you can talk about enjoying the moment. But I have bills. I have pressures. I have children who need me. I have a career I'm trying to build. I have a future I'm trying to secure. I can't just sit around being present. And I hear you. I hear every single word of that because I said it too. I said it to my mother when she tried to tell me the same thing. I said it to my friends. I said it to myself in the mirror every morning while I was getting dressed for a life I was too busy to actually inhabit. And I am not telling you to abandon your responsibilities. I am not telling you to stop planning or stop working or stop caring about your future. What I am telling you is something far more subtle and far more important. I am telling you that the future you are sacrificing today for will never arrive, because when it gets here, it will be today. And if you have not learned to live in today, you will spend that today dreaming about the next tomorrow, and the cycle will never break. It will never, ever break until you decide to break it yourself. And out of all of this, out of all my years, out of all my mistakes and my regrets and my victories and my losses, I have distilled 3 pieces of advice that I believe are the most important things I can offer you. Not because they are original, not because no one has ever said them before, but because I have lived them. I have tested them against grief and against joy and against failure and against loss, and they have held. They have held when nothing else did. The first piece of advice, and I cannot stress this enough, is this: stop waiting for permission to be happy. Let the waiting go. Let it fall away like a coat you've worn too long. You don't need it anymore. You never did. Let it go. I see this everywhere. I see it in young people. I see it in people my own age. I see it in people who are older than me, if you can believe that. People waiting for the right job, waiting for the right person, waiting for the right amount of money in the bank, waiting for the children to be independent, waiting for retirement, waiting for the doctor to give them a clean bill of health, waiting for someone to tell them that it's okay now, that they've earned it, that they deserve to be happy. And I want to look at every single one of them and say, no one is coming. No one is going to give you permission. The permission you are waiting for can only come from you, and if you don't give it to yourself, you will die waiting. I waited for decades. I waited until my children were grown. I waited until my husband and I had been through our hardest years. I waited until the house was in order. I waited until the storms had passed. And do you know what I discovered? The storms never fully pass. There is always another one coming. There is always another problem, another crisis, another reason to postpone your joy. If you wait for the perfect moment, you will wait until you are in the ground. And that is not a metaphor. That is a fact that I have seen with my own eyes in people I have loved and lost. So my advice to you, whatever age you are, whether you are 25 or 45 or 65, is to give yourself permission to be happy right now. Not when things are perfect, not when the list is done, not when the storm passes. Now, in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the life that is not at all what you imagined, but is still, somehow, yours. The second piece of advice I want to give you is something that took me almost my entire life to understand, and it is this: forgive everyone, including yourself, especially yourself. Where is the line between holding on and being held captive? It's somewhere in the grudges I carried like stones in my pockets for 40 years. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm still replaying conversations from 1973. But the truth, if I'm honest, is that the people I hadn't forgiven probably forgot those moments long ago. I was the only one still carrying the weight. I carried resentment for years. I carried it toward people who hurt me. I carried it toward people who disappointed me. I carried it toward people who left when I needed them most. And I want to tell you something about resentment that no one tells you when you are young. Resentment does not punish the person you resent. It punishes you. It is a poison that you drink expecting the other person to die, and they don't even know you're sipping. They have moved on. They have lived their lives. And you are sitting there decades later with a cup of poison in your hand, wondering why you feel sick. The hardest forgiveness, though, was not forgiving others. The hardest forgiveness was forgiving myself. for the mistakes I made, for the times I was selfish, for the times I was impatient with my children, for the times I chose work over presence, for the times I said things I cannot unsay, for the years I spent waiting for someday instead of living in today. I had to look at all of that, all of it, and say, I forgive you. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time, and that is enough. And I want to say this to you because I think many of you carry this. I think many of you are weighed down by regret that you have never spoken aloud. Regret about a relationship you didn't fight hard enough for. Regret about a choice you made that you cannot undo. Regret about time you wasted, opportunities you missed, words you never said. And you carry this regret like a stone around your neck, and you think that carrying it makes you accountable. You think that punishing yourself makes you a better person. It doesn't. It just makes you a tired person. A person who is so consumed with what they did wrong that they cannot see what they can still do right. Forgive yourself. Not because what you did doesn't matter, not because there are no consequences, but because you cannot drive forward while staring in the rearview mirror. At some point, you have to turn your eyes to the road ahead. And the road ahead, at any age, is shorter than the road behind. So don't waste it looking back. The third piece of advice, and this is the one I hold most dearly, the one I would whisper to you if I could hold your hand and look into your eyes, is this. Love the people in your life like you will lose them tomorrow, because you will. Hold them close. Hold them now. Don't wait for the right words. Don't wait for the right moment. Say the thing. Say, I love you. Say, I'm proud of you. Say, I'm sorry. Say, thank you. Say, I see you. Say, you matter to me. Say it today. Say it now. Because tomorrow is not promised, and someday is a lie, and the people you love are the only real wealth you will ever have in this life. I have lost people. I have lost my parents. I have lost friends who I thought would be in my life forever. I have lost people suddenly, without warning, without the chance to say goodbye, without the chance to say the things I always thought I would have time to say. And I want to tell you what that feels like. It feels like a door slamming shut in a house you are still living in. You walk past that door every day and you reach for the handle and it won't open. And on the other side of that door is every conversation you didn't have, every I love you that you thought could wait, every apology that you were too proud to make, every moment of tenderness that you postponed because you thought there would be time. There is no time. There is only now. There is only today. There is only this person in front of you, right now, breathing the same air as you, sharing this fragile and beautiful and impermanent thing called life. And I know this is hard. I know it is hard to be vulnerable. I know it is hard to say the things that matter because saying them makes them real, and real things can be rejected, and real things can be lost. But I will tell you what I have learned at 85. The pain of vulnerability is nothing compared to the pain of regret. The sting of saying I love you and not hearing it back is nothing compared to the agony of standing at a grave with those words still sitting in your throat, unsaid, forever unsaid, because you waited for someday and someday never came. These three things: stop waiting for permission to be happy, forgive everyone, including yourself, and love the people in your life like tomorrow is not guaranteed, are the best advice I can give you. Not from a book, not from a lecture, from a life. From 85 years of stumbling and getting up and stumbling again and learning, slowly, painfully, beautifully, what actually matters. And I want to be honest with you because I think honesty is the only thing worth giving at this age. I don't always follow my own advice. There are still days when I catch myself waiting. There are still moments when an old resentment flares up and I have to consciously lay it down. There are still times when I am too proud or too afraid to say the thing that needs to be said, and I have to push through the fear and say it anyway. I am not a sage on a mountaintop. I am a woman who has lived a long time and who is still learning, still practicing, still falling short and trying again. But I will tell you this, at 85, I am happier than I have ever been. Not because my life is easier, it isn't. Not because my health is perfect, it isn't. Not because everything has worked out the way I planned, it absolutely hasn't. I am happier because I have finally, after all these years, stopped waiting. I have finally, after all these years, forgiven. And I have finally, after all these years, learned to say the things that matter while the people I love can still hear them. If you are young and you are listening to me, please hear this. You have less time than you think. I know that sounds frightening, but it is actually the most liberating truth you will ever encounter. Because when you truly understand that time is finite, you stop wasting it. You stop spending it on grudges and on waiting and on people who do not value you. You start spending it on what matters, on love, on presence, on joy, on the small, quiet, ordinary moments that turn out, when you reach the end, to have been the whole point. And if you are older, if you are my age or close to it, hear this too. It is not too late. It is never too late. As long as you are breathing, as long as you are here, as long as today is still today, you have time. Not much, but enough. Enough to forgive, enough to love, enough to be happy, enough to live. So keep your faith, whatever that faith looks like for you. Whether you find it in a church or a temple or a walk through the woods or the silence of your own heart at 3 a.m, keep it. Because faith is what tells you, when everything else falls away, that this life has meaning, that your existence is not an accident, that the love you give and the forgiveness you offer and the joy you choose are not small things. They are the biggest things. They are the only things that survive. Do something wonderful for yourself today, and then do something wonderful for someone else. Call the person you have been meaning to call. Say the words you have been afraid to say. Forgive the person you have been punishing in your mind, and then forgive yourself for the same thing. Give yourself the permission you have been waiting for someone else to grant. And if no one has told you today, let me be the one to tell you. You are enough. You have always been enough, and you are loved. Be kind to whoever crosses your path today. Be kind to the stranger and the friend and the family member and the person who frustrates you, and especially, be kind to yourself. Because at the end of all of this, at the end of 85 years or 25 years or however many years you are given, what will matter is not what you accomplished. What will matter is how you loved, how you forgave, how you showed up, present and willing and brave for the one life you were given. Let's all share this wisdom with one another. Let's all take this journey together. Not toward perfection, not toward someday, just toward today, just toward now, just toward the people in front of us and the love we still have time to give. I will see you in my next video.